did in last lecture. In a while, I'm going to ask randomly. وأسأل عشوائي كم من طالب. And as I mentioned from the first day in this course, those questions for those random students will be like a bonus at the end of the course. بينعطى حقهم bonus. So whether you know the answer or not, just participate. Anyone will not answer, it means he's absent. I mean, will not answer is not going to reply to me. معناته انه مو بحاضر، بس حاضر جسد بالاسم بس. Again, any question شباب for what we did in last lecture? No questions. It means it was clear for all of you. And I hope so. We'll see it now. Okay. What we did in last lecture, we've talked about, or we found the present value for a given future, or a future value for a given present. And the first step, always, I told you, the first step is to plot the cash flow diagram. The second step is to show the standard notation. Now, for this cash flow diagram, say, for example, for the present year at time 0, $3,000, I equal to 7%. We want to find the F at year 7. Ali Taha is absent.
يا دبة.
No, Ali Taha. Not Taha, Ali Taha.
Okay.
قاسم حسين. قاسم حسين.
دكتور قاسم لو قسيم؟
ما تنقري قاسم بعد قسيم اوكي. بس حق المرة الجاية قسيم اوكي. قسيم حسين. Tell me the standard notation for this cash flow diagram to find the future value. قسيم حسين. انت عدلت اسمك بس اختفيت مرة ثانية.
موجود دكتور بس ما أعرف الجواب.
اوكي. لأن هاي اللي قلت من شوي إذا فاهمين اللي كان قبل ولا لا اللي سويناه المحاضرة اللي طافت. علي عيسى.
موجود دكتور. F equal B أعتقد.
عطني الستاندرد نوتيشن كامل. The full standard notation.
بعدين نفتح قوس بيكون ال B given M.
لحظة علي. أنا بكتب وياك ستيب باي ستيب. ال F equal to what؟ substitute directly.
B.
Substitute directly. لا تعطيني الحروف.
Okay, 3000. نفتح قوس. B given F.
احنا ايش قلنا؟ نمشي هاي الدايركشن. شنو أول شيء موجود عندك هنا؟ What is the first thing you have in here?
F.
So what you want to find? You want to find F. So the factor here will be what?
F. أي صح عادل. given B الآن.
And high P is given to us. So F given P. Then
7% الانترست.
N.
It's not given لا دكتور.
7 years.
7.
شوف وين احنا define the P or F. We have F at year 7, P at year 0, so N 7 minus 0. أنا بكرر هذه لأن عقب شوي or in the coming lectures we are going to see that is different. إنه ما بتكون على الزيرو، بتكون أي وقت أي تاريخ ثاني. Aisa, was it clear?
Clear دكتور.
تمام. Okay. Let's see someone else now for something else. Same thing, if you want to find نقول مثلا that one unknown, that's what we want to find. إذا هذا given to us 3,500 for example, هني كان 8 years, so to find the P will equal to that F which is 3,500 P given F. دائما نمشي هاي الاتجاه. Want to find the P given the future. 7%, how many years? 8 minus 0. So 8 periods. I'll start recording now.
دكتور المايك مسكوك.
Thank you. What we did in a previous lecture, we've covered that single payment, either to find the F giving the P or to find the P giving F. Today, inshallah, we'll see those two sections for the annuities. To find the P giving the A, or to find that A given P, or A given F, or F giving A. For the first one in here, we call it just directly to find the present worth for that annuity. But if we want to find an annuity for the present, for a given present worth, we call it capital recovery. We call it capital recovery. Why? To recover the investment, to recover the loan, to repay the loan. That's why they call it capital recovery. The first amount put at the year 0 or whatever year. This is the capital. the principle that you need to recover it by installments. So let's start it now, inshallah. The first section of today's lecture, 2.2, P given A and A given P factors. To find a P for a given annuity and to find the annuity, or what we call capital recovery, for a given present values. Before doing this, can any one of you guys tell me what is the condition for an annuity? Remember we had, or for that annuity we have 3 conditions. What are those conditions?
Equal amount.
Who said that now? I said the 3 conditions. You need to give me the 3 conditions together. One condition, it will not be applied. If you miss any of the conditions, it means this is not an annuity. 3 conditions have to be there. Yes?
The flows are equal.
بس يعني شباب واحد يرفع يده بس عشان اشوف مين قاعد يتكلم لانه ما باين عندي شيء. Yes, Ahmed.
Flows are equal and uninterrupted. And
uninterrupted. What do you mean by uninterrupted? And uninterrupted.
صح ما تنقطع يعني.
And
the flow at the end of each interest period. إنه يعني في نهاية كل period.
Okay. Uninterrupted. So first of all, equal. Secondly, uninterrupted. Thirdly, end of period. End of period. في حد بيضيف أي شيء على اللي قاله أحمد؟ Okay. That's correct. Missing any of those conditions, it means we don't have an annuity. Especially الانتربشن. إذا كان الانيويتي مقطوعة. Say for example, if we have an annuity from year 1, 2, 3, 4, then again started from 6, 7, 8, 9. What about year 5? There's an interruption here. That interruption, it means instead of calculating for one annuity, it means we are going to calculate for 2 annuities. The first one from year 1 to 4, and the second one from year 6 to 9. Those 2 considered as a separate annuity. Or we can do something else, we'll see it later on, inshallah. But for the time being, it has to be a continuous, consecutive series of those cash flows. So just to remind you again, the cash flow are equal, uninterrupted, and flow at the end of each interest period. Flow at the end of each interest period. To find the P giving A cash flow profile for that will look like what we have in here now. And this is very important to plot it according to what we have exactly in this diagram. Want to find the P for a given annuity. Notice end of the first period. This is our first period in here. This period 1. End of that period, so it will appear at year 1 at the end of year 1. Then the second year, third year, n-1, nth year. It's a continuous from year 1 to year n. Notice the length of each arrow. They are the same. That's why they are equal. End of period to the second one. Uninterrupted, which means the continuous. And by the way, later on, you do have to upload all those just to show the first one and the last one. Just show the first one and last one and connect between them. Doing that, you are going to tell us that you have that annuity. Whatever value here, let's say, for example, $600. Want to find that P. Need to put the interest at the top of the cash flow diagram. Want to find LP here. Notice LP, where is it? The first cash flow. LP just one to the left of the first cash flow. One to the left of the first cash flow. Did the first cash flow of that annuity. One to the left of it, which is at the beginning of that year, at time 0. It's like saying that I'm going to invest at time 0, how much I'm going to get yearly later on for a certain number of years. They're the same idea. That's why it's one to the left of the first cash flow. Finding that P. Knowing what it says here, annuity is given. So we know that annuity. So A, we are going to do exactly the same factor now for that. Going to this direction. How to write the factor there? Can anyone say that? Or suggest any
B given
factor?
A. B given A.
B giving A. Yes. Lubna, continue. Or I don't know who talked.
بعدين نحط الانترست ريت بالبرسنتج وعقب الان.
Then an N. Did the same for what we did in last lecture for the previous factors. The only thing is this. Depends on what we have in here. Again, going from left to right, من اليسار لليمين. Need to find the P. That's why we're going to put the P at the beginning. Giving what? Giving that A. Let's see it now. The P given A factor. In formula. I'm not going to drive it here. If you are interested in how to drive it, in the book, just in a few lines, you can see the derivation of it. It's straightforward, but it's not our concern. It's easy to drive it. I'll back to this because I need to remind you of one thing. Notice what we said earlier. You can find P equal to, if you said okay, here A equal to $600, like what we mentioned earlier. I 5%. N here, let's say, for example, 9 years. So to find the P, we can say $600 directly. Direct substitution now. I'm not going to put the letters. What do we have here? We want to find the P. What is that $600? Which is the A. How much is I? 5%. N 9 minus 0. 9 minus 0. Which is 9. Why 0? Why not 1? Because 1 is inclusive in our cash flows. And what we want to find, that P, which is at time 0. That's why it's 9. 9 cash flows. Even if you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we're going to have that 9 cash flows for that annuity. We did it what? In one step. Someone will come, he's going to ignore that concept of an annuity. He's going to solve it in other way. He's going to say, okay, I have future at year 1, future value at year 2, future at year 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he'll find P1, 600. Let's say P giving that future value of that 600. 5%. 1. Year 2, or for the second period, same thing. P giving F 5%. 2. Third one, same thing. P given F. P. Do the same for P4, P5, P6, P7, up to P9. 600 P given F, 5%, 9. After doing this, sum them up. Take the summation of all those to find that P. Which one is faster? Which one is faster? To use this method or this one for the annuity?
The annuity.
In one step, the annuity. And believe me, later on, if anyone will do this, he's going to complain about the time. Time was not enough. You did not give us a time to solve the problem. We cannot finish the exam or the test or the assessment because of the time. Actually, want to see the concept. If you understand it from the first step or at the beginning, you're going to write this step and to find using your calculator to tell us how much is that annuity, and that's it. Only in 2 lines. Showing it in that way, believe me, you are not going to finish. Especially if you give us if we give you 20, 30, or 40 cash flows. I can't show you an evidence of some of students without mentioning their names in previous classes or previous courses. We're doing that. This is not a cash flow diagram, or this is not a solution or an answer using a concept of an annuity. That's a wasting of time, and it is not to be a wasting of our time to read all that. Some of the students take it in 2 pages. You flip the page just to continue answering one question, and at the end they got it wrongly. This one thing. Secondly, they could not read the second or third question. So be careful with that. Need from the first time to identify that what we have in here is an annuity. Look for what we have for that factor. It's like finding a P for a given A. Finding a P for a given A. The part which is in here, that is P giving A I% N. So that factor, the factor formula for it. Just what we have in here. If you multiply by that A, will give us that P. A division, since the division is divided by I and that numerator is divided by I, it means if you put it 0, this is undefined. That's why this applied only for I not equal to 0. Applied only when I not equal to 0. This expression will convert an annuity cash flow A to an equivalent present worth. Instead of showing this much of cash flows, we can put it only in one cash flow, which we call it P. Amount one period to the left of the first annuity cash flow. 1 period of the first annuity cash flow. Repeating this again, P for the calculation of annuity will be 1 period to the left. So the annuity is starting the first one at year, for example, 5. 1 period to the left, so the P for it will be at year 4. If it's starting at year 1, 1 period to the left will be at year 0. If it starts at year 0, 1 to the left, i.e. year -1. This is very important to know it. Notation. For that one, this notation factor. We have not call it standard notation, the standard notation, the complete one. So notation factor, P given A, I% N. What to substitute here? For I and N. This standard. Remember what we did earlier, that when we said, okay, P1 equal to this much, P2, P3. The factor inside there, just P given F or P given A. That will not be changed. Whether at P1, P2, P3, P4, or we have the first annuity, then the second annuity, the third annuity, we are not going to write any numbers in here. Just P giving A directly. Don't change the standard. Excel. Using Excel. Like what we did in a previous section to find the PV giving F. Finding the PV giving F. You said, okay, PV. Let's use an Excel, I% to put the number there, N, A, which is PMT, F. If you don't have that value for A, just leave it blank. Comma, then another comma directly, or a space or whatever. So that's the blank one, empty. Why we have here only 3 terms? Because actually it was similar to this one in here. We don't have F, so why to continue? We can put that comma, blank, close the bracket. Which means we can close the bracket from the beginning. System will know that nothing. The third always the annuity, the fourth term for F. If you are calculating for that.
Hey guys, Rob here.
Present worth or present value. The capital recovery. Capital recovery, A given P. Why we call it capital recovery? Because we want to recover the investment or to recover a loan per year in annuity. Count to it now. A given P, I% N, to find the annuity for a single payment, single cash flow at year 0 or year 1 or year 2, and always that P is 1 to the left of the first annuity. 1 to the left of the first annuity. How to write the Excel file or the Excel function? Before doing that, want to see the formula for this. A given P is just the reciprocal مقلوب اللي موجود هنا. So A equal to P, I multiply by 1 plus I to power N divided by 1 plus I to power N minus 1. The I here to substitute in decimal. So if it is equal to 5%, for example, I'm not going to put 5 here. I'm going to put 0.05. The Excel function, what we want to find? We want to find that annuity. In Excel, it's called PMT. So in Excel equal to PMT. Now, what do we have? I% N P. Why we close the bracket here? Always we have 4 terms. The fourth term here, which is an F. Since we don't have F in here, we're going to close that bracket after P directly. After that P, we're going to close the bracket. Let's see an example, and inshallah will be clear for you. Want you, first of all, to see how to plot the cash flow diagram by yourself. Plot it by yourself. That's the first step. Second step, write the standard notation. But let us see it now. And the third step, of course, to find the answer. It's always like this. The question, how much money should you be willing to pay now, which is at time 0? How much money should you should you be willing to pay now? That one is required to find P. How do you know it's P? Because it says now at time 0 for a guarantee or for a guaranteed $600 per year. What is that? $600 per year. What is this?
The annuity.
The annuity. This is the annuity to guarantee to get that yearly. For how long? 9 years. Starting next year. When we said starting next year, i.e. at year 1, the first guaranteed amount you are going to receive is a year 1. For how long? 9 years. So year 1, 2, 3, up to 9. Year 0, to put that, it says here now. What is the interest rate? Rate of return of that investment, tier or will be 16% per year. Plot the cash flow diagram before answering that question. Plot the cash flow diagram, CFD. Did the first step. Did the first step. And not to forget, showing that or plotting the cash flow diagram, make sure to do it relatively. When we said relatively, it means the length of the arrows to reflect the values. Have you done it or not yet? Have you managed to find or to plot cash flow diagram by yourself? Starting year 1, the first annuity, up to year 9, the last cash flow on that annuity. At time 0, this is the required amount that you're going to invest. It says here, how do you know that's investing? To pay. Paying, it means that is downward when at time 0, because it says here now. You see the cash flow diagram for this. Required to find the P at time 0 for the annuity that is going to start from year 1 up to year 9. How much is that annuity? Put it at the top. The amount 600. Even you don't have to show this. You don't have to write this here because we know that 600 now is the annuity. And again, you don't have to show all the arrows. Only show the first and last arrow and connect between them. That's what we done here. I 16%. في حد عنده أي سؤال على الكاش فلو diagram, how we did it in here or how we get it from that question?
يعطيك العافية دكتور.
دكتور ال بتكون 8.
لا. إذا ما أدري من اللي سأل الحين.
أنا عندي سؤال ثاني دكتور. وياك على
علي عيسى كان اللي سأل.
ايه دكتور انا.
علي. ال P will be where? One to the left of the first cash flow, right?
اي نعم.
انزين. That number 9 minus for that one 0. 9 cash flows. So n equal to 9. والله انت خربطتني ما I don't know which one to take. Is it 9 or less or more?
دكتور starting next year لأن قلت يمكن ما نحسب.
لا هو دائما 1 to the left. 1 to the left of the first cash. Sorry, at number 1 this is inclusive. This is inclusive. inclusive in what? Inclusive in our calculation. How many cash flows we have? إذا بتحسب على يدك. How many cash flows we have in here?
9.
9 cash flows. إذا قلت هني 8, which means what? You exclude one of them. أنت شلت خلاص شلت واحدة منهم. خليتها بس 8. إذا قلت 8. فهذه صار فيها you have not included. Yes, Kautar.
إذا كان starting after 2 years يكون 8 يعني هو يعتمد على إذا متى الستارتنج يصير بعد.
أي إذا started 2 year معناته بنبدأ من هني. بس ال P1 بتكون هذا ما بتكون موجودة عندي. P1 بتكون 1 to the left of that one, i.e. it will be at year 1. دائما 1 to the left. So بيكون عندي 9 minus 1. كم كاش فلو عندي هني؟ عندي 8 كاش فلوز. هذا الشيفتد سيريز، هاي يسمونها شيفتد سيريز، هاي شابتر 3. هاي الفرق بين شابتر 2 و شابتر 3. هني قاعد نعطيكم بس الكونسبت to understand the concepts. The concept here is to find the present for that annuity which start at year 1 and always the P will be 1 to the left of the first cash flow of that annuity. لازم تحفظونها حفظ هذه. 1 to the left of the first cash flow. إذا كانت عندنا year 1, so the first one will be, or the P will be at year 0. Second step, the first step. Second step is to find what? The standard notation. Give me the standard notation for this.
600.
لا أعطيني full standard notation.
600 بعدين نفتح القوس.
What? Wait. What do you want to find?
B.
P given A.
الP.
You want to find the P. That P equal to لأن هاي مو equal هاي بس علامة هنا. ال P equal to 600.
بعدين نفتح قوس B given A.
Want to find P given A.
16.
16%.
9.
9 periods. That 9 أنا ما بخليها دايركت هنا على هذه ال 9. لا, this depends where we are starting. إذا بدينا من 1 معناته 1 to the left, i.e. this 9 minus 0. This 0 where for P. Where is that P? The last cash flow of that annuity. Now using your calculator, find how much is that? Using your calculator, find how much is that?
طلع عندي 2763.
عدل 0.92.
192 أو 93.
لا تنسون الكرنسي. ما هاي يعني كل مره بكررها، لا تنسون الكرنسي. نسيت الكرنسي نص الدرجه راحت، نص درجه راحت من الريزلت. Again, how much it will be?
2763.
2763.93.
93.
Thank you. This using what? Using the compound. واحد يا الله قال لا انا ما بستعمل الكومباوند بستعمل الكاش. Can you use the cash for it? To find that? Can you use the cash to find that value?
دكتور أنا استخدمت القانون طويل.
علي عندك الكالكوليتر ولا لا؟
إيه عندي.
تمام. ده انا اوقات محتاج استخدم الكالكوليتر، اوقات محتاج استخدم بس الفورمولا. Later on we'll see using also tables from the book. بس انا الاسسمنت والتست will be in the university. That tables will not be given to you. That's why we're going to concentrate on using the calculator and a supplement or as a supplement for the formulas. You can use the formula, not a problem. But for a mix of cash flows that we're going to see later on, inshallah, in chapter 3, you cannot use directly, or you cannot spend much time in substituting to calculate formulas, or especially if you have trial and error. Now with the cash, can we use that with the cash or not? عشان لا نضيع وقت. Yes we can. عشان لا نضيع وقت بس لأن ما بجون أكيد. Yes we can use that with the cash, but it's going to consume your time to put all those entries for the annuity. In the cash editor, the first entry, nothing, it will be 0. The first entry here, it will be 0. The second entry is for year 1. So we put 600, then 600, 600, till number 10, 600. Why? We need to add those 9 cash flows. إذا ليش خلينا أول واحدة 0؟ ليش ما خليت 600؟ Then we don't have anything in here. That's what we want to find. And we need to reach till end of that period, which is at period 9. This will be shaded without entering any number. After that, just find the net present value. You can get the answer, but with that answer, which will be exactly the same with different sign. The sign which you are going to get in here is exactly similar to the sign what you're going to get into that per year. Get the correct sign. When to use this? If you have a mix of cash flows, year 1 is different than year 2, different than year 3, different than year 4. Mix of cash flows, annuity plus gradient plus single payments and so forth. Just take the net for each year and put it in there. معناتها لا تستخدمون الكاش editor or that bottom if you have only annuity.
دكتور 600 نحطها في البي ام تي لو بي في لو في الكالكوليتر.
I didn't get you. ما فاهم سؤالك.
دحين في الكالكوليتر لما بنحط 600 بنحطها في وش الرمز.
Yeah, you are talking about the compound, right? This is the PMT annuity, which is the payments. PMT. Yeah, بتخلي ال N 9, بتخلي ال I 16, ال PMT 600, then go for ال P and find it. Press solve. Have you got the answer?
Okay.
Okay, no. But don't forget, if you put it positive, you're going to get negative. If you put negative, you're going to get it positive. Don't let the calculator controls you. You're supposed to control the sign by yourself. If you don't have a mix of signs, mix of cash flows, in the compound, if you put it negative, make sure to write the answer, not to get, to write the answer in negative. Because later on, we're going to have a mix of that cash flows up and down. If it's upward, for sure it's positive. If it's downward, for sure it's negative. I mean, the resultant of it. Let's see the second section. That to find F given A and A given F. Sinking fund. Sinking fund and uniform series compound factors. I want you to read it from the book. What is the sinking fund? It's 2-3 lines only to give you the definition of that sinking fund. Suppose we are interested in the future amount F. Interested on the future amount F of a fund to which we contribute annuity, which is $8 each period. You are contributing قاعد تساهم ولا تشارك per year. You want to see at the end of the last payment, with the last payment and the last period, how much is the future amount or future value for what you contributed as an annuity, as a constant uniform amount over certain periods, and on which we earn interest at the rate of I per period. This is exactly similar to what we showed earlier for the cash flow diagram. So the cash flow diagram for A given F factor will look like this. If F giving, want to find the A, or if we have an A given, want to find the F. Notice here the last payment at the last period where we are going to get that F at the same period of the last payment, end of the year. At the beginning here for F, or sorry, for P, 1 to the left, but for F, exactly with the last payment. بعيدها مرة ثانية. I don't want any one of you to find F for that annuity to have it 1 to the right. There is nothing called 1 to the right. Always F with the last payment, last cash flow of that annuity. Always with the last cash flow of that annuity. But for P, 1 to the left of the first annuity. F with the last, P, 1 to the left. Derivation. What we want to get? We want to find A given F. We want to find A given F. Maybe some of you or some of you will depend only on the formulas. Will come in the test and say, okay, what you give it to us, you give A given P formula to find A, annuity for giving P, and the formula for example, P given F. What we need here, we need the A given F. What we supposed to do? It's straightforward again. If you come to mathematics, you put it in like what we have in here, multiplied by P given F, cancel out. What we're going to get? A given F, which means if you calculate that factor with this factor, will give you the required factor for A given F. In other words, we'll see the substitution of formulas. This for A given P. Notice here that factor, and we note for P given F, we have another factor. Now, if you found this and substituted into that P, will give us what? This A given P and that P given F. Cancel those together. So if you substitute what you have in here for that P, it means you're going to get A given F. So the final formula for it is like that. You don't have to derive that formula. You can directly use whatever available with you to get that required. And I believe, since all of you are engineers, inshallah, the coming engineers in early future or in the coming future, you know how to do that. Since you are, most of you, expert on math now, that is not difficult for you. Just find that for finding F or for finding P for giving F, substituted for that P. That's what we're going to have. So this A giving F for that factor. And of course, the calculator will give you direct answer for this. You don't have to write the formulas. What is required from you? Cash flow diagram, standard notation, the final answer. In general, for A given F, the standard notation for it. A, that's what we want to find. F is given to us. So A given F. Again, moving in this direction. We want to find A, giving that F. Standard, not to change it. Put the values in here, not the letters. Substitute the values. The factor formula. When we say the factor formula, i.e. just for what we have in there. For A given F, I% N, which is between brackets. And by the way, any mistake in any one of them, it means the whole factor is wrong. Now, what you have in here, just if you substitute it there, you can get the value for that bracket multiplied by F will give you the required annuity. Using Excel, exactly the same, just what you need to find here, payments, PMT, so equal to PMT, start with an I, and what it is, the empty here, this for a P. Since we don't have a P in here, so we'll leave it blank. And the last term, notice here we have first, second, third, the fourth term, which is the last term in that function, is for F. You don't have to memorize it because once you write this in Excel, open the bracket, it will tell you the steps what to put. Now for F giving F given A factor, this is for A given F. The previous equation can be rearranged to find F for a given or a stated annuity A series in period 1 through N. And in here, to find the A given F, now we want to find the F given A, i.e. just the reciprocal of that. مقلوب هذه بس. يعني بيكون 1 plus I to power N minus 1 over I. That's what we need for that factor. With the same standard notation, with the same cash flow diagram, the standard notation. The only thing will differ is the arrangement of A and the F. So in here will be F giving A, I% N. F given A, I% N, and then the factor formula. When we say it again, factor formula, not the standard notation, just that factor. Did the formula for it. Using Excel, equal to what we want to find. We want to find the future value. I, N, and here this is for P. This is for P. We don't have any P here. We don't have present value. So we'll leave it blank. A, which is the PMT, which is the annuity. Just to remind you about F, which is going to occur in the same period at the last annuity or the last cash flow on that annuity. It's always like this. For P, 1 to the left of the first cash flow. For F, with the last cash flow. With the last cash flow over the last period. Let's see an example now. need you guys to plot the cash flow diagram by yourself as a first step to write the standard notation and to get the answer for this. I'll read the question with you. You're supposed to have a paper in front of you with a pen to plot the cash flow diagram for that and to write the standard notation. The answer is not given, or the standard notation solution of the problems. I'm not going to put them here because I need you to write it in front of you for each example by yourself. It says, Formosa Plastics has major fabrication plants in Texas and Hong Kong. The first part, just the definition of the problem or the scenario, or to tell you the introduction of that problem. Nothing is given there. Now, it is desired to know the future worth. It's desired to know the future worth. To know, which means that what we want to get. For what? Future worth. So that's what we want to find. Of what? Of a $1 million. $1 million. Is it per year? Is it at time zero? What is that 1 million? Invested at the end of each year. At the end of each year. So that 1 million is an annuity. That 1 million is an annuity. Want to find the F. For how long? That investment, it was over 8 years. So N equal to 8. Starting 1 year from now. So if we start at year 0 here, starting 1 year from now, i.e. at the end of that year, at the beginning of the second period, this at year 1, this is our first investment. First investment. That investment, that arrow for that annuity, will it be upward or downward? Amna Ali, will it be upward or downward?
The F upward.
No, A, will it be upward or downward?
Downward.
Downward, thank you. The last one, in which year? Of that annuity? Ali Makki.
لا دكتور. Hello.
Answer the question, please.
You want the year?
Sure, ما سمعت, sorry.
الير مال آخر شيء.
Yes.
So it'll be at year 9, I guess.
Who else?
8, Doctor.
At year 8, it says here for 8 years. Thank you. For 8 years. يعني إذا كان عندنا first cash flow of that annuity at year 1. So if you just your fingers, you'll see year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just 8 payments. So the last one will be at year 8. Of how much? $1 million. What's required from us now is to find that F. Notice where we put it. We put it with the last payment of that investment at year 8. The I is given here 14%. 14%. This is per year. Now, did the cash flow diagram for it. If you read it, or if you are going to read what is in here, you need first of all to convert to this plot of a cash flow diagram. Convert it wrongly, it means you're going to get a wrong answer. Make sure to write it and to plot it correctly with all giving data. The annuity is given here. It says end of each year for 8 years. Each year, this is 8. This is the annuity. For how long? 8 years, starting from year 1 to year 8. To find what? To know the future worth. So that future worth will be upward. Why upward? Because what we are finding here just the equivalent of that. كم بيكون عندي المبلغ في نهاية السنة أو ويا آخر payment أي at year 8. How much the interest? Of 14%. Who tells that we're going to start at year 1? Notice here, starting 1 year from now. Starting 1 year from now. This is now. This 1 year from now, أي at year 1. لأن قال هني for 8 years, and we are going to start at year 1. That's why we're supposed to have 8 payments. But if it says starting year 2, if it says starting year 2, so we're going to have that payment here for 8 payments. We'll go for 9. That if it says starting year 2, but now for the time being, we're going to stick for what it says in here, starting at year 1 of 8 payments. So it will be 1 to 8 only. Standard notation. Standard notation. Want to find what? Hamad.
Yes, Doctor.
Yes,
to find the future, F.
Okay, the standard notation, give it in.
1 million. Cost على F given A.
ليش مو A given F؟
لأن عندنا الانويتي.
Because what we want to find the F giving annuity. Thank you. F giving A.
فاصلة 0.40.
No, Hamad. No. As it is. في الفورمula you're going to put it 0.14.
Okay.
But here put it as it is. I percent. How much is that I percent? 14%. Continue. Hamad. Disappeared. Hamad.
F.
What F? You tell me here F equal to 1 million, F given A 14%. Then what?
8 years. 8. لا.
شباب لا حد يساعده. Hamad, I need you to be sure of what you are saying. Be confident of what you are saying. Then later on, what you are writing in here, you need to put it in a second without thinking, directly to write them. Why to put that 8? See the first one, or sorry, the last one at year 8, minus 1 to the left. It's like finding the P for it. عشان قاعد احسب بس البي. البي what it will be if you want to find the P. 1 to the left of the first cash flow of that annuity. So always will be 8 minus 0. 1 to the left of the first cash flow of that annuity. It's 8. Now the answer. Yeah, high step 1, step 2. Now step 3 is to get the answer. What is the answer for this? Finding the future. Finding the future. Yes, علي.
1-3.
علي إذا بتقول لي 1-3 بدون الكرنسي I'm not going to accept the answer.
$, of course.
دائما أول شيء بدها عشان لا تنسى بعدين. $, yes. 13 million.
Yes, 2-3, 2-7. 6-0, 1-1-6. 1-6.
1-6. To get 1-1-6 ولا 1-6.
هو 1-5-7 يعني بس
1-5-7 بس قربنا.
Okay, good. Thank you. يعني شوف هذه عليه مرة ثانية بس عشان أقول لكم إذا هاي المسألة مثلا عليها 10 marks For that cash flow diagram 2 to 3 marks. حق الستاندرد نوتيشن تقريبا 5 6 درجات. حق الفاينل انسر درجتين او 3 درجات. For اذا كان عليها درجتين هاي عليها نص درجه وهاي عليها نص درجه. Additional. Then don't lose marks. or خليني اقولها بكل صراحه السيلي marks. silly mistakes. هي مو mistakes بس بتيجي تقول لي انا استعجلت انا ما no don't do that. Make sure to put everything. See the other example. Again, start with a cash flow diagram to solve this problem. How much money must Carol deposit every year? To deposit every year, starting 1 year from now. The first part in here. Carol need to deposit certain amount every year. So what we are talking about here is the annuity. That annuity is unknown. Starting from which year? Starting from year 1. From now. Year 1 from now. We are at time 0. At 5.5, so this is the I%, 5.5 per year in order to what? Accumulate. إنه يجمع at the end. أنا ما قال لكم هني to find the future worth. No, it says here to accumulate. من الانفستمنت اللي بيخليه يبي يجمع في النهاية $6,000. It means we're talking about the future value. The future value in here to find the F. The F that is given to us of how much? $6,000. When? أنا عندي لحد الحين something missing. When to find that A, I have the F with the I. We cannot have two unknown. The period. What is the last period here? 7 years from now. This is now, and here the year 7. 7 years from now. So N will equal to what? Again, from now, N equal to what? If you want to find, for example, P, it will be 1 to the left of the first cash flow. We'll consider that, so N equal to 7 minus 0. أنا دائما أخلي هذه as a reference for me. 1 to the left of the first cash flow of that annuity. That N will not differ if it is at for finding F or for finding P. The same N. How many cash flows we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cash flows. So that's why N need to be 7. Then the first thing is to find or to plot the cash flow diagram. The plotting of it. Standard notation. What will be a standard notation in here?
أجاوب دكتور؟
علي حسين. Yes, okay, go ahead.
ال A will equal F. نفتح البراكت. ال A given.
لا لحظة علي. احنا قلنا don't waste your time to put letters. directly عطني هذا. ال A equal to what?
الحين ال F اللي هي 6000.
6000 على طول direct substitution. يعني لا تضيع وقت تكتب خطوة. اوكي open the bracket.
A given F.
A given F.
comma 5.5%. 7 years.
7 years. Thank you. So the answer, high first step again, high second step, the third step, the answer. So A equal to what?
$sign.
Okay, Hassan Ali.
725,177.
How much?
$725. and 77 cent.
Thank you, شباب. Any question for this? Need you
شو اسمه دكتور 79 سنت غلط.
بس عشان اقول لكم ان هذه يعني واحد بيقول لي لا انا حطيتها 63 64 72 ما بندقق عليها وايد. We are not in banks here. في البنوك لا السنت الواحد يفرق وياهم. لو عندهم 100,000 كلاينت كل واحد يشيل منه السنت، لان في بعض البنوك سوت الحركه دي، شرت منه فلس واحد من 100,000 عميل، ففي اليوم كم تشيل من النقاده؟ كم توفر؟ 100,000 فلس. 100,000 فلس يعني 100 دينار يوميا قاعد يشيلون بدون ما ندري. هاي ما اتكلم عن البحرين، بعض البنوك in some country they did that.
دكتور عندي سؤال بخصوص الستاندرد نوتيشن.
يس اي
في الامتحان دايركت نكتب الارقام، ما يحتاج نكتب نعرف الستاندرد نوتيشن ولا يعني نفس اللي سويناه الحين هني؟
هاي عشان كذا قاعد اعيد نفس الحكي بالضبط. ليش؟ لان انت اوريدي حطيت لي اياه على الكاش فلو دايجرام.
تمام.
خليت what is F, what is A, the required thing, what is I. فهني بتيجي تعوض مباشر. وانا دائما اقول لكم لا تضيع وقتك انك تروح تكتب خطوه عقب ترد مره ثانيه تعوض فيها. هاي كذي يعني الثانيه تفرق وياك. You need to manage your time.
تمام دكتور مشكور.
يلا موفقين ان شاء الله شباب. Any question? Any other questions?
All clear دكتور.
I hope so. ان شاء الله. Just to remind you of what we did today, need you all guys now, since you are going to have 1 day or 2 days, just for 1 hour or 2 hours. يعني إذا ما رجعتوا من البداية, let me stop the recording here, just to solve the end of chapter problems randomly, or you can solve them all. إلا أنك بتمشي على section by section, you can solve easily. يعني ما تقول لي والله عندي وايد مسائل، بس لو بتخلي لنهاية الشابتر عقب ما نخلص الشابتر تجي تحل مسائل، لا كذي بتضيع. So it's better to solve problems now for the 2 or 3 sections that we covered so far. For F given A, P given F, P given A, and whatever. Read the scenarios, upload them, do the standard notation. Most of those problems already we upload. One of the students, he solved most of them. موجود عندكم على التيمز. بس ابيكم تحلون بنفسكم انتم. طبعا مو كل الاسئله صح، او سوري مو كل الاجابات مالته صح. بعض الاجوبه كانت شوي فيها اخطاء. But at least he tried to solve all of them. ما خلى ولا سؤال. كل الاسئله حاول يحلهم. It will be easy for you later on in the test or exams or final whatever if you solve now, practice them. بتشوف ان والله القرايه وايد سهله، الكلمات ما عندي صعوبه فيهم، انا هالكلمه دي والله مرت علي من قبل. I don't have any problem with it. Please try to do it from now. Okay guys? Is it okay or not?
اوكي دكتور.
اوكي.
شباب بس انا عندي ملاحظه ثانيه. سوري بس بقول يعني عشان لو today I notice يعني احنا بدينا المحاضره بالضبط على الوقت. كم واحد؟ في تقريبا 10 طلبه دشوا متاخرين. او عشان لا تقولون 10 9 طلبه دشوا متاخرين. لو بتردون الجامعه ان شاء الله قريب ان شاء الله نرد الجامعه. لو برد الجامعه هناك بتقولون تقولون لا ليش بقول لكم ليش جبت هي جايين متاخرين؟ someone will say okay sorry كان الزحمه برا ما قدرت اوصل. واحد ثاني بيقول لي الباركينج. ما ادري يمكن الطلبه القدامى او اللي جربوا في الجامعه يدرون ذي الشيء. لاحظوا هالاشياء دي. هني انت قاعد في البيت ما عندك شيء، توك متغدي اوكي، دش على الوقت لا انا قاعد اسجل مين اللي قاعد يجي متاخر، مين مو قاعد يجي متاخر. هاي كل الاوقات تبين عندنا من دش على الوقت بالضبط، من دش or who was waiting to enter exactly on time. وانا في اسماء موجوده اللي واعي بالتايم. في بعض الطلبه يدشون في البدايه يطلعون عقب يدشون مره ثانيه. all that's recorded. وهذه ما بقى اوكي ما بقول لكم بحاسبكم عليهم، لا. just to know who's serious in this course. من مسجل بس انه والله حضور المحاضره انا بتعلم منها. and by the way this not only this course، هاي في كل الكورسز عقب ما نخلص المحاضره either in blackboard or in teams ينزل لنا ملف كامل. هذا الطالب دش في اي وقت، دش عقب طلع، عقب دش في نهايه الوقت، او دش اوكي وطلع متاخر او ما طلع خير شر، بس انه دش ومشى. all that will be recorded. just أنا في شيء في بالي عشان اخبركم عنه. so we are done for today. نشوفكم ان شاء الله المحاضره الجايه.